Alright, well welcome guys. This is a video on how to change the oil on a 2.0 liter 4-cylinder engine, the M264 engine from Mercedes-Benz. These are the specs. The hardest part about this whole process was actually finding the right oil, believe it or not. Finding the right oil was the most difficult process because Mercedes-Benz doesn't show you the weight of the oil that's required. They show you the spec, as shown in this picture right here. So the spec that I was trying to follow was the 229.51 spec. Mercedes-Benz does a really good job of offering this website, and I'll put it in the description below. You could find all types of oils that match that specific spec, whether it's liquid MOLY or Pennzoil or Mobil 1, and the different weights that apply to each. This website also shows you brake fluid, transmission fluid, all those types of different fluids in your car. And but I thought this was very helpful. So if you kind of navigate through this, it shows you all the different manufacturers. Like I said, the different weights that you could use. On this particular engine, you could use a 0 weight or you could use a 5 weight. I ended up choosing to go with a 5 weight. I felt that it was a little bit more, a little thicker, a little less loose. It allows for a little bit more lubrication in this engine, so I went with the 5 weight, which is fine for this engine, and it matches the specification. I went out and I found the Pennzoil. It's called the Euro L, and as you can see in this chart, the Euro L 5W30 matches the 229.51 spec that's required by Mercedes-Benz. And this is a photograph showing you the oil. So it requires 7 quarts of oil to fill up the engine. And as you can see, this does meet the 22931 and the 22951 specification. The filter I used was a man filter. I ordered it through FCP Euro. I'll put the link down below. So let's get right to it. So the first thing we need to do is just prop it up onto the ramps and remove this cover shield that's on the underside of the engine. There's 8mm bolts that hold this up. So it's just an 8mm socket. You can see it right there, and there's 8 of them throughout the cover. As you remove those, the shield comes off. The one thing that you're going to realize on this shield is that it does stay up on the front end of the car. This is it removed, and you'll see this is the oil pan. That's the 13mm nut that actually holds the oil in. What you're going to want to do is remove the oil cap, obviously, to remove the oil from the engine. Alright, so using a 13mm wrench, what you're going to want to do is remove the nut on the oil pan. This is the nut, and it has a copper crush washer that you're going to want to replace every time you do the oil change. You're going to remove the oil from the oil pan. Just wait for most of it to come out. Then you're going to go back to the top side of the engine, remove these plastic grommets from the air intake. These are the 2 grommets. You just basically pull out the pin on the center of the grommet, and it allows you to pull the entire grommet out. On the other end of the air intake, you're going to want to pull the end of the intake out so you can remove the entire intake piece and get it out of the way, so you can access the oil canister, filter canister. Just like any other BMW or Volvo or Mercedes-Benz, it's got a canister. It's a 25mm nut on top. I ended up using an open crescent wrench to basically open it up. Once you loosen it, you could remove it by hand. It's pretty easy to do. You remove the filter from the housing, and there you go. There's the canister with the filter element. It's a little long. There's 3 O-rings on this, and then when you do buy the oil filter, the 3 O-rings do come along with the oil filter. You can see it right there. So what we're showing here is the new oil filter. These are the O-rings that were removed from the old canister, so you could replace it with the new O-rings. And this is the new oil filter and the O-rings installed. into position, you want to like tighten it up. So 18.4 foot-pounds to tighten that up. 22 foot-pounds to actually tighten up the oil pan nut. And then you want to reinstall the air intake. Now when you reinstall the air intake, you're going to notice that there's a little notch on the bottom of the engine side. You just need to line that up and just place that into position so everything kind of fits nicely. And then on the top there's two little divots, you know, where you want to like place the air intake into. Line those up. On the other end, just push that back into position and then reinstall the little plastic grommets to hold it into position. Real easy to do, very simple. If you're struggling with that, then you're doing something wrong. Then you would reinstall the shield. Now, like I said before, the shield has these little spots in the front where you can actually like hook it on so it doesn't fall off the car. So it's a good design, you know, just so when you remove those 8mm nuts, the whole thing doesn't drop on your head. But when you do place it into position, you want to make sure that you put it back on. So now you're ready to fill up the engine with the new oil, the 5W30. Like I said, it's 7 quarts. You're going to install it in the filler cap. All right, so the menu what you want to get into is this one right here. And in order to get to the proper menu that will show the workshop mode, you need to do a couple things before you get into that, which is to basically, when the car engine is off and the airbag light is on and you're also in trip mode, you need to basically press these two buttons for about 6-7 seconds, and then you press the home button. Once you do that, then you can kind of scroll back and forth on this menu, and you want to get into the workshop mode. Now the workshop mode is the one that you want to get into because it'll give you all of the vehicle data. It'll give you the engine type, the vehicle information, then you can scroll down and it'll tell you exactly where you are in terms of oil level, oil temperature. So I'm at 6.6 quarts. Topped off is 7 quarts, so I need to add a little bit more. It actually tells you to add 0.3 quarts of oil to the engine. Yeah, absolutely. So this is pretty straightforward. It's easy to use. It tells you exactly where you are in terms of oil level, and you can add appropriately or drain out if you added too much. But you always want to add a little bit less than what the manual tells you, which is 7 quarts in this particular model, and then add a little bit more at a time. So I'll probably top it off at 6.9 quarts, drive it for a week, and then see where it ends up. Hey, I hope you liked the video. Please like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell so that next time a new video comes out, you get notified. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.